Hello everyone, and today is a day of reflection at Oldham Athletic. We're playing Eastleigh, but the highlight of today, the main talking point, is it will be John Sheridan's final game in charge at Oldham Athletic. Obviously, he came in when we were at our lowest last year, came in at the deep end, and his attempt was to try and keep us up. It started off well, unfortunately, it didn't go to plan. Obviously in the summer, he's kept on, he wanted to put right what went wrong. It just hasn't worked out for him. The guy is still a legend to me and to many Oldham fans, both as a player when he came from us he dropped into non-league conference with Doncaster, came back, retired when we had no money, when we had administration, despite his knees and legs being knackered. He came out of retirement to play for us. Who can remember that standing ovation he got at Hillsborough, a 2-2 draw when he scored that penalty? The whole ground, 25,000 fans. That is respect. That doesn't happen often. He's kept us up a few times in the past. Unfortunately, he said this was just a job too much for him. In my opinion, we were more or less doomed before he came. Sadly, some of the things I've read on social media, I think we've been a bit disrespectful towards him. When you think of what he's done for the club, he's affectionate for the club, he cares for it, he's passionate. And obviously, we said he wanted to put it right. So I just wanted to put your mind back to a year ago this weekend when we played Hartlepool, and some images and videos you'll see next. Yeah, it was a day of protest when myself and many other fans protested outside the ground against the former owners. Just remember, your football's your bread and butter. You go to enjoy it, you go to see your team win, not to be stood outside calling for the owners to leave, telling them to get out of our club, holding banners dressed as clowns. But guess what? It was something we had to do. And you know what? It was the right thing to do that day. Myself and others boycotted it. So anyway, just have a look at him and just remind yourselves about it. As you can see from the videos, images, it was a grim time. It looked bleak. It looked like we were not just going out the league. It looked like we were going to be stuck with these owners forever. Everything that could go wrong was going wrong. Eventually, Keith Curl went and he made the mistake of appointing Salim. We had one win under him, which was a cup game against Sunderland. But in league forms, it was terrible. Salford away, a good example. Then over Christmas, playing for draws at Barrow and Hartlepool. Come on. Imagine how Sheds have been back for them 2 games. The proper transfer window. I'm not saying we'd have stayed up, but it was extra clinging to it. And obviously went to Harrogate away, which to me was an alternative protest to being outside the ground. It was toxic. It was horrible. You knew people were there just to give the players, the team, the owners absolute shit and abuse. But at the end of the day, it was matched by an equally awful performance. One of the worst I've seen. The lowest of the low. Now, Sheridan had been rumoured to be coming back. I always say this. Don't keep going back. But in the day, I said if you could do any better than what they were doing, and I took it, and he did. He brought a bit of passion. He brought a bit of belief. he united the fan base. And he gave us just that little bit of hope that he could pull off the great escape, which in my eyes would have been even greater than the escape in the 92-93 season in the Premier League. Just watch a couple of these videos from the games, you'll see now.
He swapped sides again.
In swinger with the right boot. It's a good delivery into the middle of the pitch. Brought down by Hart onto the byline. It's
Get in!
Oldham Athletic, you will go. Oh, it's the end, Johnny Sheridan. Oldham Athletic, you will go. Oh, it's the end, Johnny Sheridan. Get in, boys! Well on, boys! Oh, no! Sheridan! Oh, John Sheridan! Oh, John Sheridan! Get it! Well supported, you will go. Oh, it's you, Johnny Sheridan. All the much you more than you will know. Oh, it's you, Johnny Sheridan. All the much you more than you will know. Oh, it's you. Johnny Sheridan. Oh, Johnny Sheridan.
Yes, I just hope the players put in that one final performance for him. Obviously, he never won that promotion at Oldham. He did take us to the playoffs one year. As a manager, he had success at Chesterfield where he won the league and won the FA Football League trophy. As a player, he won a League Cup final for Sheffield Wednesday against Man United at Wembley. He also played at the 1994 World Cup, so he has had a good career. Whether he retires or not, we don't know. Football's a strange business. People get the bug for it. It's hard to pull away. Look at Hodgson last year. Retired from Palace but came back to Watford. Either way, Shez, I'm sure every Oldham fan will say this. Wish you all the best whatever you do. Still a legend. Still Sheridan. Here's to you, Johnny Sheridan. Oldham loves you more than you will know. Whoa. So some people said about Pete Wild. At the moment, he's doing a good job at Barrow. He's signed a contract. Whether that's Barrow's way of protecting him so they can get a bit of compo, but I think he's there to do something for himself. He wants to make a name. He's clever in not making a jump to a bigger club where the expectations are higher. Barrow, he's got a chance to do something with them, which I hope goes well for him. Just look at like Mark Hughes at Bradford. He won't get a Premier League job nowadays, so he's had to take the punt and drop down. By the way, I'm not endorsing us to appoint that Red as a manager. Get that straight now. John Sheridan brought a bit of identity back to the club. Boundary Park went from being a morgue, from being doom and gloom, to rocking, to being full of life, to the atmosphere, to three of the stands just basically chanting his name, getting behind the team. This was one man who did this, no special offer. This was John Sheridan, and he's returned to the club. When Sheridan came back, the fans instantly took to him because he knew that link and that bond he has with Oldham Athletic. He's had more respect ever than any of them owners had in any of their time at this club, and there are associates who are working with them or under him. We know who they are, but we're not going to give them the limelight or the mentions or those names. Obviously on the pitch it didn't work out for Shez, but one thing about him coming back and bringing the crowds back was it appealed to the new owners, Mr. Rothwell, his family, and Darren Royal. Darren Royal anyway knew what Oldham Athletic was all about, but for the Rothwells, they said they were at the Orient game. They saw the potential this club had. They saw that stand bouncing. They realised just how important Oldham Athletic is to the fans, to the town, to the community, and to the footballing world as well. And for that, you've got to thank Shez, because if he'd not been in charge, it had just been again 100 or 200 there. You'd probably hear a pin drop it, they'd been that dead. Under Slim and Abdullah, if they'd still been in charge, would have been like Scunthorpe, bottom of the table, even worse, minus 15 points. Would have literally just continued to decline. Mr. Rothwell come in and he saw that potential. He saw what was there, and 100% fair play to him, and rightly so. Shez deserved that chance to go into this season, to have another crack at it, to try and fill that glory, try and win that promotion, or at least get us in the top half and do what he could. New ownership, the Rothwells wanted to take us forward, and had Sheridan left at the end of last season, there'd been no hard feelings for me. He took on a job, he took on really an already team that was doomed, but did his best to try and turn it round, and for that, you can't have a go at him. All you can do is just hold your hands up high and say, fair play, Shez, you had a go, no bad feelings. Not from me anyway, not from a lot of the fan base. It's a chance to give Shez that proper send-off, a proper hands up Shez, thanks for everything you've done, a good standing ovation, because he's been a big part of our history in numerous spells, as I said earlier, as a player and as a manager. And under this new ownership now, all we have to do is get behind him and see who takes us forward. Obviously, two names that have been linked with us is David Unsworth and Duncan Ferguson, two well-known players from the Premier League, especially during the 90s, early 2000s, two established players. Duncan Ferguson growing up was one of my favourite strikers. He banged the goals in at Dundee United and in two spells at Everton. He had a short spell at Rangers and Newcastle, obviously. An old school striker, not afraid of anyone, not afraid to get it stuck in. Tough nut. And for me, if anyone can get them on the pitch, get them frightened and get them into action, his influence would be a major, big part on and off the field. I did meet him a few years ago. I tell you what, I wouldn't want to be in a fight or one-on-one or get on the wrong side of him, that's for sure. David Unsworth is an experienced defender. He has had spells as caretaker manager at Preston and Everton, but most of it has been spent working with Everton's academy sides. So obviously, when it comes to young players, he knows how to handle them. He's developed plenty of them. And I reckon as the years gone by, you'll see a few of these players who have dropped into non-league and possibly thought, you know what, they're good enough to come and play for Oldham. They should still be playing at a higher level. Alongside Royals connections, I still believe they may be able to get a few players on loan, possibly from Everton, or a few that are still within the Football League, and say, look, come and play football, come and play at Oldham. I know to some places it's like, well, it's a drop, but it's experience, it's first team football, and a chance for them to rebuild themselves, or just go out and get that experience, which is needed. And to be fair, I'm not going to lie, we do need more quality within this team. I'd be lying if we said otherwise. That's why I like the signing of this young Carragher from Wigan, who the Wigan fans are speaking very highly of at the moment. Obviously, I've seen Everton's under-23s twice play Oldham in recent years. One was in the Football League Trophy, we beat them 3-2. Another one was in the Lancashire Senior Cup, and it was actually a day when we saw Abdullah's players such as Nepo, Johnny Placide. We actually had a young Tom Hamer player that stood out for us that day. And we won that game, obviously. At that time, you wouldn't have thought what to expect now, but I don't think many of them Everton players have actually pushed on. So I'm sure there'll be one or two there who gave us a game that could be still out and about in the market, as well as other teams. I'm sure the players that have scouted who they thought who's caught the eye may think they could be playing at a better level, or why they're rotting in the reserves, or just not doing anything. So that's another key. Your name's knocking about, but do you really want an old school dinosaur? Phil Brown, what's he done in the past 5 years? Someone else said Jim Gannon. Jim Gannon at Stockport was like Sheridan was at Oldham, but when he went back, he never really did it, other than his early spells. Now, yeah, there's a chance for a non-league manager. We had Talbot, didn't we, if you remember? He took Rushden and Diamonds up. Graham Wesley's another example at Stevenage. At them clubs, it's all designed around them, but the expectation's low compared to that at Oldham. However, look at the Cowley brothers, what they did at Lincoln after leaving Concord Rangers. I want a manager who understands the league, who's ambitious, who's fresh, who wants to play good football. That doesn't always happen in this league, and sometimes we are going to have to play ugly to get out. Some people said Frankie Bunn, yeah, it was hard done. His football wasn't the best, but like I said, in this league, it's wins that count, not always performances. Someone else said Jose Baxter. Now, a good post on Twitter was, do we always have to cling on to people with links to Oldham? Yes, I will back in a manager, but it's a lot of younger players now. Who's Frankie Bunn? Who's Jose Baxter? Unless you're a diehard kid who's grown up supporting Oldham or knows all league football, so a lot of them it could just be, alright, because players, especially at this level, don't stay around at clubs long enough now. They don't get big terms. Fans struggle to identify with them or feel a bond. And that's my worry. I don't want to see another person in legendary status lose that buzz he had or be remembered for a bad spell. Don't get me wrong, I could see actually Baxter being part of Unsworth and Duncan Ferguson's coaching team because he said he wants to go into coaching. However, sometimes it's good to have someone like Lee Johnson, fresh, knows football, ambitious, doesn't have that link with a club, but wants to make a name for himself. Either way, they've got to know this league, or they've got to know what our fan base expects. Stockport changed managers last year and went up. I don't think we'll quite do that. There's nothing to say to come in and climb the table and aim for that top high finish. Let's get appointed though. We need that winning mentality back, something we've not had for a long time. Fans just want good, consistent results. Not this, well, we'll have a win there, we'll in there. No, we've had that for too long in the past where it's just, that's the only way you're going to get fans back in. Winning games, good football, fighting for games, a bit of passion, pushing towards the end. At least with these new owners, we've got rid of this negative vibe that we had on the previous regimes of too skint, we can't go anywhere, oh, we're pushing above our weight, when we weren't really, where we're just clinging, holding on. A manager who wants to play football, score goals, win games. That's all we want, and players who will go out and give it 100% on the pitch. And in the long run, once that winning mentality comes in, we will climb that table and eventually get promotion or win a trophy here and there. Obviously, my final thought, regardless of the novelty and the sentimental feeling today about the occasion, we still need a win. We still need to go out there and we need to get all 3 points. However we play, scrappy, delightfulness, whatever, hoofball, we can't afford to keep dropping points. I'm not even saying the relegation battle yet. It's still about getting points on the board and looking up. And these players today need to go out there, like I said, not just give Chefs that final moment of his glory, finish on a high, to impress the new manager, show that they're worthy of being in his starting 11, show that they are footballers and they want to play football and that they're good enough, because I believe half of them should be doing better than what they are. Hopefully, this will be the turning point for the season. Now, when if the new manager is ready, is going to be appointed soon, it'll be quicker, not rushed, but get him in sooner rather than later. Eastleigh at home, one final curtain call for Shez. Let's go out on high. Come on, Oldham. See you later, folks. See you in the stands.